Disclaimer: MGTOW, Men Going Their Own Way, teaches men to forgo marriage and essentially go their own way. This guide is for those men who still want to persist and find their wife. This guide can be used as a reference to help avoid making many critical mistakes that most non-MGTOW men will make in their lifetime. Hi there, MGTOW 101, classes in session. How to find the right wife. Essentially, as a straight man who is interested in women, you have a choice. You will get married or you will not get married. If you're looking forward to getting married, then this feature is highly recommended for you. I will not persuade or discourage you to get married. I simply want to help you make an informed decision, which is arguably the most important decision you will ever make in your life. Picking the right woman is very important. Marriage is a lifelong commitment between two people and needs a lot of careful planning for the future. Getting married without any actual planning and doing so without much thought can turn into a horrible decision that you as a man will regret for the rest of your natural life. Getting married is an important business decision. Men usually marry down and women like to marry up. Marriage is a contract between two people. You have to weigh up all the risks and rewards prior to getting married. You must choose the right wife like a savvy businessman who picks the right company to invest in. It shouldn't be left to chance. You must really do your homework and then some more in order to make a sound decision of who will become your wife. To a contrary fiction and belief, marriage isn't about love or finding a soulmate. Those are the doings of a Hollywood propaganda, fake inventions of television and media. Marriage is an exchange of resources between a man and a woman. Your wife shall provide X and you will provide Z. If your wife simply wanted to get married because she wanted to have her one day in a pretty white dress but does not provide you with anything else inside this marriage, then she should not be entitled to be your wife. As stated previously, marriage is a contract that you must try your best to make sure that your future wife keeps to her side of the promised bargain. You can't make this decision when you're feeling hopeless love or lust for someone. You must have a clear head and thoughts for this type of situation. No businessman who wants to stay in business will sign a contract in an upset or emotional state, and no man who wants to stay married will sign up all of his belonging away as well as his power just because he loves a particular woman. In the end, it really takes a rational, clear-headed planning and thinking to pick the right woman to marry. If a man wants to get married, there are only two basic reasons. Number one, he wants to start a family and raise children. Number two, his job or career demands he has a wife. This is especially important if a man is a politician. For the sake of our listeners, I will discuss point one only, the fact that the man wants to raise a family. Apart from this, there is simply no other reason to ever get married for men. Love and romance are not good reasons to ever get married, no matter how much your woman pressures you into it. When a man gets married, he signs away all of his belongings and power over to his wife, and surely there must be a significant benefit for this for a man to do so. That benefit is essentially raising a family and growing old with his wife. The goals of marriage are as follows. Number one, avoid the divorce, theft, and having your children taken away. Number two, keep your wife happy and content by being a great wife and a caring mother, which totally goes against the brainwashing that is feminism. Feminism is a form of brainwashing that teaches women to turn their backs on raising a family and becoming a narcissist that only thinks about herself. A good wife should be completely devoted to her family. The one and only source of real happiness for a woman comes from her family. It does not come from her career, or her female independence, or her sexually liberated point of view to sleep around with as many men as possible while riding the cock carousel. Number three, enjoy a happy and healthy family with well-educated and respectful children, masculine sons and feminine daughters, along with strong family values. What men really want? Most normal men don't want an independent and empowered woman in their life. That's a sign for a career woman who will resent men, slip around, and will be bitter and angry as she gets older. All men alike want a caring, sweet, bubbly, feminine woman who treats her man with love and respect. Women love men who go after what they want. Women love men who don't take a woman's tantrum seriously. Women also respect men who treat them as women, not as men in a dress. Divorce and what it means for a man. You can't argue that marriage is a poor deal for a man. When a man gets married, he essentially gives his wife all the power over his money, belongings, and children. No-fault divorce really means that it's a man's fault. If your wife is to decide she wants a divorce, she can have all the perks and privileges of being married and none of the negatives. In the Western world, divorce is essentially a theft from the man. The bulk of wealth is taken from men and given to women. A woman, or an ex-wife in this case, can live off your financial support via alimony and child support, and she can take your children and raise them as a single mother or enlist the help from a stepdad who is her new lover. The law, police, courts, and the government are on her side. What this means is that in the eyes of the law, she is in the right and you are in the wrong, and you have zero say in it. Hence why you must find a woman who will make your marriage as comfortable as possible, that is, if you do decide to get married. When should people get married? Ideally, a marriage for a man should happen after he turns 30. After this age, he has had some time to live, make good money, picture his soon-to-be wife, and look forward to settling down. Most men between the ages of 18 to 30 are still immature and simply want to have a good time, sleep with as many women as possible, and spend most of their time with friends and doing their hobbies. Simply put, young men under the age of 30 are mostly incapable of deciding which women suits them as a lifelong wife material. This is obviously a personal point of view, and men can get married prior or just after the age of 30. In fact, between the ages of 30 to 45 is a great age to get married for a man. It's interesting to note that a man's marriage value is at its highest when he is between the ages of 30 to 45. Now let's examine how to pick good women from bad women in order to save a world of hurt for men who still want to get married. Number 1, she should be young. If you're still going to marry a woman, then her oldest age should be 30 maximum. The ideal age for a woman to get married is anywhere between the ages of 22 to 25. It also depends what country the woman comes from. For example, women in Eastern Europe are ready to get married as soon as they turn 21, while women who are 21 in Australia are still considered quite immature and childlike if they are brought up according to the Western culture. The main problem and risk with marrying women who go past 30 is that a woman's body does not age very well. You want your wife having a nice, young and firm body. Generally, a woman is her most beautiful from the ages of 18 to 25. Once she hits past 30, her beauty starts fading quite quickly, along with the ability to fall pregnant. Sure, there are ways to keep her beauty for longer, but that usually involves heavy makeup or fake up, plastic surgery, and other ways to manipulate her body to appear younger than it really is. The trick is to meet her when she's young and beautiful, so she essentially gives you her body in the best and most attractive stages of her life. It's a trade-off because as she starts to age, you will have to respect that too. Most women do not age very well naturally. MILFs and cougars, older women that younger men find attractive, are a fiction from the good old Hollywood films that brought us the likes of X-Men and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Don't believe the con. Single women who are 30 and over have pretty much wasted all their younger, prettier years riding the cock carousel, having sex with random men, and now they want to find the man who will take care and look after them in their older years when they no longer appeal to the majority of young men. Don't be that naive, stupid man who will fall for her trap. It's also critical to note that a young female body is very important for giving birth to healthy children. Old women cannot have and don't have healthy children. When a woman hits 30 years of age, that woman is already 15 years past her childbearing prime. Once again, don't be that sucker. If you think that older women are smarter and make for a more interesting conversation, you are wrong. Women's IQ level doesn't increase with age. A stupid woman in her 20s will be just as stupid in her 30s, except now she will have a lot more baggage and even more bitter personality to match. Stay away from such women. Point 2. Her parents must still be together, not divorced. She needs to have two original parents, her biological mother and father. Kids raised by single mothers cannot be mentally healthy. A single mother simply can't raise healthy children on her own or with the stepfathers or other boyfriends. You need an emotionally stable wife. Women who have witnessed divorces in their family are simply too traumatized and unstable mentally. She will randomly cry, blame you for all her problems, ride the cock carousel in her younger, prettier years, and will not know how to act in a proper family environment. You need to avoid women from broken family homes. Point 3. Divorce should not even be used in her vocabulary. If a woman starts discussing divorce, applauds as a friend who got a divorce, or looks favorably upon a divorce as an option, then drop her like a hot potato. She has been already tainted. Better let her be on her own than suffer at a later stage. To make sure that the husband and wife stays together for life, discussing divorce should not even be on the cards. Point 4. Her body must be appealing to you. You have to accept that when a woman settles with a man, she may add a few kilos to her frame. This is hard to avoid. What should not be tolerated is a woman blowing up to become a huge obese creature. Some women especially diet before their wedding day to fit into that wedding dress. Be careful, because once she gets married, all that weight will come rushing back and she will once again pile all those kilos back on. Think twice about marrying such women. She must be appealing to you from day one. That means she must have the same body type her entire life, never crash dieting or going up and down in size. Make sure she has a pretty face. After all, you will have to see it every day, and if you find her face unattractive now, it'll only get worse as years roll by. Point 5. She must look after her image. A woman who lets herself go after marriage is a disgrace to herself, her husband, and her family. She must try and look her best all the time, which includes maintaining a healthy body weight. Women will actually put on some kilos after marriage, but there is a big difference between a few kilos and 50 kilos. Are the women in her family fat? If they are, it's a good idea to walk away as fast as you can. Point number 6. Future wife must be family orientated and not a career woman. This woman will be the mother of your children and the keeper of your house. As a man, you don't need your woman's money to support the household. If you do, you should not be getting married in the first place. Perhaps a better option right now would be to find a higher income stream for yourself and potentially a future family. Even if she's earning decent money, who's going to look after the children while you're both at work? The expensive daycare and schools, that is. Potentially a lot of your wife's income will go towards paying for children to be looked after during the day. Why not cut out the middleman and leave her home with the kids? If you don't want children, do not get married. The only reason to get married is to have a family. If you're interested in women who are career driven, let's see. The way it goes is like this. Even if she's a career woman when you meet, she will not be working when she's older. No sane woman wants to work, but for many of them it takes a long time before they finally come to their senses. Young women usually waste all their youth pretending they have a career and then realize what a big mistake they made and quit their jobs to take care of their child who is more likely to be retarded. This is what happens when older women have children. Most of the women who work in their 20s and early 30s do so because they have no other option, and they usually are bitter about it. They would all love to quit their job and concentrate on looking after the family or be a housewife. But because feminism has instilled a false image that women can have it all, a career, a husband and kids, women nowadays leave it until mid to late 30s to start a family. Don't let anyone tell you otherwise, but no woman really wants to work. Working a job or looking after a business is a man's world and responsibility, and always will be. A woman's role in life should be at home taking care of home and raising children. Point number 7. She must be a good-natured and respectful girl. She can't be a party girl who includes drinking, smoking, doing hard drugs, or have lots of tattoos. Otherwise, this woman will have different priorities in life, and being a good wife taking care of her family and home is not on her list. You can't turn a whore into a good girl or a housewife. Trust me, it's easier that way. The more promiscuous she was and the more sexual partners she has had, the more likely the marriage will end up in divorce. Trust me on this. How many times have you heard a woman say that she didn't mean to cheat on her boyfriend or husband and alcohol was to blame? Remember, the less sexual partners your wife has had, the better it is for you. Ideally, your future wife should be a virgin. Let the following sink in. The more men she has slept with, the more likely she's going to divorce you in about 3 to 5 years, and you will lose most of your money, belongings, and your children. If you think that you're going to change this woman, or that she will change her ways, remember that leopards never change their spots. Your marriage will end badly. Trust me on this. Always pick a good-natured girl. Go for a virgin or one who has had 1 or 2 boyfriends max, who is family orientated, pleasant, eager to please you, with a friendly smile and a relaxed personality. Point number 8. Signing a prenuptial agreement should be no problem for her. If you have had a lot of money and assets that you worked hard over a number of years or decades, or even if you inherited some money, the smart thing to do is to protect them by asking her to sign a prenup. Should she divorce and leave you within a few years and you have no children, then you will most likely keep all of your stuff and finances. If you end up having children together, then this will complicate things. However, it will still be easy to divide stuff. You will still have to pay child support, but may very well get to keep your other valuable things. If you're both broke when you get married, then obviously there's no need to sign anything. On a final note, if you do have a lot of money and valuable items prior to marriage, and your fiancé refuses to sign the prenuptial agreement, then you should refuse to get married, because she obviously has a hidden agenda. If she cared so much about you, she would sign any paper just to be with you. And if she says that signing prenups kills romance, then don't believe her. Most women would never marry a broke or a poor man. And she secretly wants you to share all your finances with her, which is just what women do in relationships. Except when you get married, you are legally obligated to share everything with her, even when she files for divorce. Remember, over 60% of marriages in Australia end up in divorce, so why take that chance? Point number 9. She must think highly of you and respect you. When a couple gets married, women tend to marry someone who is more successful and wealthier than them, while men to go after an attractive woman who tends to have a sexy slim body. If the woman you are marrying thinks low of you and looks down upon you, then chances are she will divorce you, take your money and children. She must look up to you, think highly of you, love and respect you, from day one until forever. It's a tricky business, but it never said marriage is an easy task for a man. Point number 11. Avoid marrying single mothers. Why do you think a lion kills the cubs from the previous affair? Raising another man's children is looked down upon not only in our society, but you will always be put last in that family. She comes first, then the children, then her dog and the cat, and you come last. Always. Ever seen a single mother dating profile online? My children mean the world to me and always come first. You come last. And don't forget that the father of the kids will always be in the picture, forever. Even if you stay with this woman until an old age, the stepkids will never ever truly accept you into their family. They will never support you when you're old. At the same time, and over the decades, you would have spent thousands of dollars on presents, countless amount of time looking after the bastard children, and what do you get in return? A shitty attitude, or worse still, a dog poop in your food or a pee in your drink. There is a reason why she's a single mother. Either the man walked out on her because she was a bad mother, or she decided to leave him because she's terrible at picking the right man to settle down. Either that or she likes riding the cock carousel. If you must be with this woman, then simply date and sleep with her. Don't let her move in. Don't move in with her. Always use condoms, and don't let her get access to your sperm, even if she's on the pill. This woman is unfit for marriage. Some other things to consider. Western women in US, UK, Canada, Australia and Western Europe have been brainwashed to believe in divorce and use it as a relationship tool to their advantage. Feminism has ruined the unity between a man and a woman and has instructed women to believe that their womanly instincts, such as raising children and being a housewife, are evil and wrong. This kind of thought pattern has made Western women to be unfit for marriage and raising a family. If your fiance uses psychiatric drugs such as antidepressants or goes to therapy sessions, then avoid her like the plague. She will drag you down with her and ruin your life in the process. Remember that if you want to have a good time with a woman, then party girls are for fun and good girls are for marriage. If a woman doesn't know how to cook or is not even willing to learn, this means that she is unfit to look after her own children. To raise healthy kids, you must only marry a woman who can and will cook healthy home-cooked meals. The great thing about being a man is that your options do not go down as you get older. Your options actually go up with your age and wealth. On the other hand, as a woman ages, her options plummet, especially if she has kids. Men age like fine wine and women age like milk. This is why it's best to pick the prettiest and youngest girl you can find. Don't take dating advice from a woman on how to attract or pick up women. She will tell you to be nice, to be yourself, to be romantic, to buy her flowers and gifts, and this is a great way for her to LJBF you. In other words, let's just be friends. It's pathetic behavior. Don't supplicate to women and never put them on a pedestal. They will never respect you or feel any attraction for you. Remember to be a leader and the head of the house. Women naturally like to follow, so make it easy for her. There is nothing attractive about a man who always needs an approval from his woman. Whether it's asking her to choose a dinner table or what movie you're going to see. Simply pick one and let her enjoy your choice. She can always choose something else next time. What happens if she dumps you prior to marriage? You must remember that there are over 3 billion women in the world. Their median age is 29 years old. There are millions of women worldwide who are marriage material. There is no such thing as a soulmate. There are millions of women just like her and better than her, and if it was meant to be, you'd still be together. Let her go and move on. There are plenty more where she came from. Don't create a scene, don't get physical and violent, trust me, you'll regret it later on. Let her walk away and never contact her again. Delete her phone number, photos, and get rid of all her things. Remember, a moment of patience and a moment of anger saves you 100 moments of regret. Preferably look for a woman within your own culture. Ideally, you should be choosing a woman from your own country and culture. However, feminism in the West has largely destroyed the concept of marriage and family in most first world countries such as US, Canada and Australia, which obviously limits your target market. Often men in Australia will travel to Southeast Asia and Eastern Europe to meet their future wife. Make sure that you are happy with the whole concept of being with someone who is potentially from a completely different background, especially if you want to have children with that woman. And another important point is that make sure she doesn't divorce you after 2 years just to get her citizenship, as this frequently happens with women from overseas. Don't forget the prenuptial agreement. Most of these women come over from abroad completely broke with nothing but a suitcase. So you're going to be a complete fool if you sign over your house, cars, money when getting married without a prenup. Remember, you have many options to choose from when it comes to women and their background. Just be smart about the whole deal. Final word. No one wants to end up alone and lonely when they're old and all their friends are married and with children or grandchildren. However, if you do decide to forgo marriage and become a man who is going his own way, you have other options such as raising your own children through a surrogate. I will do a whole video on single men having children through surrogacy at a later date. Our civilization largely exists due to the nuclear family, that is, a husband, wife and kids. It has been like that for thousands of years, and it's tragic that feminism has destroyed much of it in the West over the last 50 years. By following this list, you can potentially make the right choice when getting married or staying single and becoming a MGTOW. If you are going to get married, do it the smart way and don't rush into it. If you're going to become a MGTOW, then you can live the life you always wanted and have everything in your own terms. The choice is yours. I will make weekly videos covering similar topics which interest men, so stay tuned to my brand new channel, MGTOW 101 Classes in Session. Like, subscribe and comment.